Looks like we are here. Hello, welcome. You are in the zone, the Biz Info Zone. I'm V.Lynn Hawkins. I'm your host. And I'm so excited you're here because I get to do another presentation. And for me, last year, the Biz Info Zone held a lot of great things. A lot of great things happened here. And I want to tell you that I am so excited that not only are we going to continue that action, but I'm going to step in the space of doing a few more trainings and either having someone interview me or interview myself or showing up just like I'm showing up today. And like I showed up a couple of weeks ago. So if you have not yet had an opportunity to check out the 10X CEO session that I did a couple of weeks ago, put it on your to-do list because it's the epitome of why we are here in the zone. Again, the Biz Info Zone, and with what's going on now, I'm going to be totally upfront, candid with you. I usually am able to have somebody else talk while I do other stuff in here, like in the comments box and stuff like that. But since I don't have anyone here today, I'm going to ask you to bear with me just a bit, but even more than that, participate. Show me that you're here with me by commenting in the comments box, especially if you have any questions, because I've got 10 tips that I'm going to go through. I'm going to go through them pretty quickly, but pretty intently as well. So make sure that you've got your pen and paper, your glass of water, and you are open to this understanding around being and becoming and being a 10X CEO. And I'm gonna start here because I have so much that I want to say, because I have so much that I want to make sure I get across to you. My hair is looking kind of weird here, but you know what? Hey, I am here. I am so glad that I'm here. And I'm getting messages from everywhere. But let me just say, I am the show host. I'm a business acceleration mentor. I've been coached to call myself an expert, but you know what? I become more of an expert with more of the work that I do. And I'm sharing right now because part of where my heart is, part of where the work is that I do, the space that I'm in, is to teach the ideas around become a 10X CEO. All right, so do you call yourself a CEO? And I pause for a moment because I want you to scratch your head and ask yourself that question. Do I call myself a CEO? Do I see myself as the CEO of my business? Well, that's where we're going to start, because without that, you have a long journey to get to becoming a 10X CEO, because exponentially growing your business starts with you. So I asked in part one of this, what's your definition of a business? And there are a lot of definitions out there. Most definitions lead to the fact that a business is a thing, a something, versus a someone. Whether you're a mega business or you are a small business, a mom and pop shop, your business is the you that you're bringing to the table. So let me go here, because again, when you think about exponentially growing your business, think about who you are and the who that you are bringing to the business conversation. So here's the thing. We're talking about 10 tips to becoming a 10x CEO. Becoming a 10x CEO really is the formula for becoming the best business owner that you can become. I am on a mission to help create wildly successful businesses, including my own, by helping women entrepreneurs in particular, but entrepreneurs as a whole, to understand that being successful in business is more than just making money, number one, but number two, knowing who you are to the business, in the business, for the business is really what's going to help you to propel the business forward. So we're talking about all 10 tips in today's session. So if you were there for the part one, you know that in an hour's time, I really focused on 3. Well, because we've got an hour and I really want you to get these things, I'm going to go fast. I'm going to hit it, and I'm actually going to put together a slide presentation with the video so that you can actually see and have a visual about what these 10 tips are. So hang in there with me. The 10 tips are so that you can move your business forward in a rapid, foundationally sound, fundamental direction forward. And helping you to do that means that you get to do bigger business. You get to do more business more easily, more quickly, and making more money. You've heard me say it probably, I don't know how many times, but when you make more money, you can do more good in the world. You can do more good for your family. You can do more good for your communities. You can make a bigger impact in the world. And I know that as social entrepreneurs, that's what we want to do. We have our causes that we want to support. We have those things, the message that we have that really needs to get out there, that being the CEO of your business, you'll be able to do, and do it more easily. So let me just jump in here. Before I do have to make sure that you know I've got a gift for you. So really do hang around at the end, because this special gift is going to be something that I think is going to bring you into more clarity about how you can become this 10x CEO that I'm talking about, and open the flow of money into your life, into your business. And, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, your business is paying you. If you're getting paid, that's great. You want to get paid more. If you're not getting paid, what you desire out of your business right now, there may be some things standing in the way of that. And some of them we're going to talk about right here in these 10 tips. And others of them I want to give you the opportunity to see if there's something else that can help. Okay. So thanks for hanging out with me right now. Once again, let me know that you're here and that you don't have any questions, because again, I'm going to be moving pretty fast here. So the question is not, are you ready? The real question is, can you hang on to your seat while we move through this? All right. So in part 1 of the 10X CEO, I talked about 3 of the 10 tips, and they're about business, money, and strategy, which is what we're about right here in the Biz Info Zone. We talk business, we talk money, we talk strategy, and there are a lot of other components around that, but I want to be real clear that the focus in 2006 has been really narrowed down to bringing other components into this conversation of business. How do I do it? How do I grow it and do it fast? Money. What is it about money that I'm not making the money that I want, or that I desire to make more? How can I make that happen? And then strategy. You know, strategy is the plan, but strategy is also the plan that includes how you're going to implement, because a strategy is only an idea if there's no implementation, if there's no action behind it. And we talked about a little bit of this last session too, but let me go through real quick. Tip number 1, be the leader. CEOs are leaders in motion. What does that mean? Leaders in motion. Come on, man. Give me a break here. What is a leader in motion? Well, you've seen them. You are either one of them, or you can certainly relate to leaders aren't people who sit still and wait for things to happen. Leader is a CEO because the CEO of a business has two main responsibilities. One, the first one is to cause revenue to come to and flow through the business to which you get paid. The end, you add to the lives of others, the economy, and that's one thing that a CEO is responsible for doing. The other is being a leader. Be the leader. So what do I mean by that? A lot of leadership information out there from some of the greats, Jack Canfield, John Maxwell, Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, so many, Tony Robbins. There's so many people who talk about leaders and leadership, and it boils down to, on a higher level, look at things, being number one, the architect of the future. What does that mean? It means you set the vision. You're the one that has the vision for this business, whether it's a 3-year vision, a 5-year, 10-year vision, a 50-year vision, or what do you think about this, 100-year vision? Have you thought long enough about your business that you could set a 100-year vision for your business? Is that legacy or what? Okay, so that's architect of the future. And there's a little more around that, but I'll suffice it to say, to get more, definitely check out the previous session, part 1. But remember this. The speed of the pack and the revenue being generated is only as fast as the speed of the leader. So you can sit back, Mr. or Miss Leader, Ms. Leader, and be the perfectionist. You can want to have everything in its exact right place, and you won't really even know that until after you implement. So why not be the leader who's moving in motion and accelerate the results that you get, the positive results that you get, with clarity, because you have a clear vision and can influence towards that vision. And the second thing is guardian of the mood. Wow, what does that mean? Do I have my mood ring on? Not quite, but yes, you do, because your mood is the governing factor for the mood of the business. And the mood of the business is the culture that you set, the core values and the purpose that you define are a part of the business. Your vision and mission, most definitely. But what's the purpose for the business? What's your purpose? And the purpose for the business does come from your purpose, your passion. And as guardian of the mood, you get to help to communicate the purpose, passion, the vision, and the mission, and the core values of your business to the world. That should be part of your messaging, part of the energy that you add to the business moving forward. And it clearly allows for acceleration because in it, there is clarity. So tip number 2. All right, let me repeat it. Tip number 1, be the leader. CEOs are leadership in motion. All right, you ready for tip number 2? Tip number 2, forget goal setting and focus on intention setting. A strategy without implementation is merely an idea. Implementation without first setting the intention for a clear outcome it's almost like blowing in the wind. I'm intending this, but... And those buts come in. And what do you know about a butt? A butt stops things and changes direction. You want to have the intention very clear because intentions are add-ons. Intentions get added on to. And I want you to add the value of who you are and what you bring to the world into this conversation about intention setting. So you'll spin to no avail when your intention is not clear, when it's not tied to the strategy that includes implementation. So what is your strategy? Vision. Plan to the vision. And then in your plan to the vision, you can't just have the how-tos without the do's, the inspired action. And, there's, again, a lot more to this. And I want to bring this in because your intention, the energy of your intention is also the energy of your brand. And your brand is not necessarily your logo and your website and your business cards and your email tagline or your email signature block. What it is who you are, that you're bringing to the party. That's your brand. And your brand, an expression of you, is then the stuff that I just mentioned: logo, tagline, colors, business card, all of that. But it is not all of that. And the reason why people have difficulty in coming up with these things is because they have not identified the brand of the who that they are, that then becomes these other things. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 2, what is it? Tip number 2, moving too fast here. Forget goal setting, focus on intention setting. Intention begins with the brand, the who that you're bringing to the conversation, and moves from there into inspired action, implementation. Tip number 3, create a flow of money, because more money is in the flow. Create a flow of money. Your money is in the flow of doing business, the flow of moving business. Money is energy. And just like everything is energy, so is money. What you want to recognize is that energy flows. When energy is stopped and blocked, it's still wanting to flow. And what happens when it finds a crack in the dam wall, it's going to flow through. It wants to flow. And how do you allow money to flow more to you, through you, and continue the cycle of flow? It's, first of all, recognizing that money is energy, that it flows, and it flows faster when you have an understanding of the 3 M's of money. Now, should I tell you the 3 M's of money? And I'm watching my time here. I'm looking at 2:22. It's a good space to be talking about money and the 3 M's of money. I'm going to talk about them very quickly because the first M of money is mindset. What's your mindset about money? What are your beliefs? What are your core beliefs? Not your conscious beliefs, but your subconscious beliefs about money. And in that, it will impact the second M of money, which is called making money. It's impacted by your mindset around money. And then the third M of money is managing money. So most people plan to manage money when they get it. However, money tends to show up more rapidly for people who know how they're going to manage it when they have it. One of the things that I think I talked about in part 1 of this series is that the Millionaire Mind Intensive was a real eye-opener when I first attended almost 10 years ago now, in creating the money buckets. And while I may not have had the physical money jars there, I had the places set up. And now that we're in a world of EFT, electronic funds transfer, as well as EFT, it's so much easier to have those money buckets as spaces where we can direct money to go to. If you need money to be something that you can hold in your hand, do something like what I've done. I got me $1 million bill and I'm working it. It's on my dream board here where I can grab it when I need it. I can look at it often and allow it to remind me that money is something tangible, because a lot of times, we're in this debit card, credit card world, this online money transfer. And now that we've got smartphones, we can do it right here. So know how you're going to manage the money. Check in with those money mindset things, what's going on in the back of your head as far as money and money. And then you can make more. When you are in that space, again, we're talking about opening the flow of money so that money can flow. Tip number 3, create a flow of money, because more money is in the flow. You may have some coming through, but it's just coming through like the crack in a dam versus being open and flowing. So tip number 4, your brand is more than a logo or a tagline. Know your brand. Tip number 4, know your brand. And again, I'll say it. Have you defined what you stand for in your business? Who are you that you're bringing to your business? I've been completing with clients this brand exercise that I have that, you would think, what's my favorite color? What's a good tagline for me to use? Well, the tagline is something that can come from a divine source, but even in that divine source, it is something that, in order to help money flow, you want to be aligned with it. So have you decided your purpose, your passion, your vision and mission? Your vision and mission. If you have no doubt also asked yourself the question, how can these come together to reflect who I am and what I stand for? They come together in your brand. Your brand is the one thing that you can stand for. So I've been doing a lot of talking and teaching lately too about the one thing. What's the one thing that is maybe the highest price thing that you're offering to customers, the one thing that all of your business, all of your conversations, all of your work, all of your craft is focused around? What is the one thing that you are so aligned with in your heart that you are bringing to your business? And because it is a one thing that you can be authentically, can have messaged in an authentic way that is more than a logo or a tagline, but it is your logo and tagline. It is the you and the value that you bring to the world. And that's what makes your brand such a valuable thing. I could go on and talk about Skyhawk Enterprises and the P3 Academy and, the whole thing around the Hawk. And, I go back to something that was divinely given to me, and I help my clients recognize what has been divinely gifted to them as well. And for me, it was a tagline that helped me to start recognizing the who that I was. And my initial tagline was empowering individuals and businesses to succeed. That was who I was. That was what I wanted to do. That was who I was, that I was bringing to the world. There was a lot of value in the work that I did that actually was in the space of empowering individuals and businesses to succeed. And as I got more aligned with the who that I am and the hawk that I am, it shifted to empowering to soar. And in soaring, there is so much more that can be done. It's more than succeeding. It's seeing farther. It's flying faster. It is truly making a bigger difference in the world. And I want you to understand too, remember I said, make your brand your cause. That's what's important to you. And that, I can honestly say, is what helped to have the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship become born. Because I am here for a purpose. You are here for a purpose. And that purpose is expressed in what it is that you do. And what it is that you do is expressed because of who it is that you are and who it is that you bring into your business. The heart of business. I wrote a blog article. You can go to skyhawkenterprises.biz and see my latest blog article about the heart of business. Finally, now we are having people to talk about and teach the heart of business and bringing your heart to business and expressing love in business. And really, though, that's what's important to you and the why. It's the thing that you love, helping people, and your vision, your mission, your purpose, your core values being distilled into your brand. Your brand then can become a statement that can stand without you necessarily being the one to express it. So make your brand the one thing, and that one thing an expression of your cause. So tip number 4, know your brand. Your brand is more than a logo or a tagline. Now, tip number 5, communicate and influence. And okay, Lynn, communicate and influence. Yes, be present, connected, and seek to understand first. Stephen Covey talked about that in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And Teresa de Gorbois talks about it a bit in Mass Influence. Seek to understand, and guess what? You will be understood, because you know what? You are using 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. 1 mouth. This eyes and ears and your heart come together to understand. And in that understanding, you're able to communicate because you know the way the communication style of the person that you're talking with. And I also I'm a very communicative person. I like to talk sometimes. However, I have also learned that I wasn't really serving when I was talking about everything under the sun instead of a few vital conversations. Identifying the one thing in your business that actually any conversation, all conversations can lead to. It's the center of all you do and all that you are about. You can be present there. You can be connected. You can listen to understand, because it's going to tell you how you can communicate to be understood, what kind of words you can use. You can tell if that person is a visual person, and you can talk in visual terms. You can tell if they're an auditory person, and you can talk about talking. You can tell if they're kinesthetic, and you can talk about, this is how I do things, and this is how, and you can actually use kinesthetic gestures. You can even tell, they call it a VAC, the visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and there's a combination. And you can even tell if there's a combination and be able to communicate using all 3 of those styles in order to be better understood. But it also allows you to be concise in gaining that understanding, allowing your focus to come to be heart-centered, and you can be in an authentic and genuine yet a powerful conversation, powerfully energetic, powerfully passionate, and passionate to the degree that you don't turn somebody off. I can't tell you how many times I've walked away from a conversation and have scratched my head because I've been this exuberantly excited person that actually kind of turned people off. And I thought, wow, I thought they would see the passion that I bring to the table. Well, yeah, that passion, but it is good to temper it. And tempering it in conciseness is what does it. One of my mentors, Rick Justice, said, and I just heard it recently, brevity is the key to a successful conversation. You allow the other person to speak and get clarification that they may need from something that you said, but it does more for you than it does for them. It allows you to come into the space of clarity. So, tip number 5, Communicate and influence. Be present, connected. Seek to understand, and you will be understood. Okay, tip number 6. Create value in an epic customer experience. Well, everyone wants to grow their business, yet we may tend to put growth before value. What do I need? How many networking groups do I need to go to in order to grow? How many conversations do I need to go in? How many, I know in a lot of the network marketing work that I did, one of the big things was exposure. Exposure, exposure, exposure. However, if your desire to grow is more important than the value that you bring to the world, you're going to miss the mark. Put value before growth, and sustainable revenue is the result. Now, what do I mean about this customer experience? We can all imagine what a customer might experience as they're working with us, as they're visiting with us, as they're in conversation with us. What about an epic customer experience? What about the experience that has them come back as raving fans? That's what I'm talking about. Creating the kind of value that people perceive as the epic customer experience for themselves. And then there's a way to test it so that you know if it's an epic customer experience. And it's one of the things that I kind of get into in a little more in depth as we talk about, and I teach about the epic customer experience. How do you build an epic customer experience? And how do you know that it's an epic customer experience before someone actually goes through it? And I'll let you know that as well. So tip number 6, create great value in an epic customer experience. All right, you ready for tip number 7? Oh, we're doing great with time. Tip number 7. Create core stories, your story, your customer's core story, and you have to know the market story. So what do I mean, core story? My core story? What is my core story? Well, the key to success in business is having a core story for every product or service you offer. And the right core story in the right time, in the right space, means that you're using it and you're actually experiencing the results of having a great core story. So how do I write a core story? Well, there are a few ways that you can do this. I teach one in particular as to how you can write your core story, but I teach it in the context of first understanding what your core story is. Now, how do I understand what my core story is? Well, let's, if you're like me, you've lived several decades of life, got a lot of stories in there, even a lot of stories in the span of your being a business owner. And maybe that story or a few of those stories aren't necessarily the stories you want to tell. So I help you to understand how to create the core story that you want to use for your business, because it's also the clarity that you come into as you're communicating and you're messaging about who you are. That's your core story. My core story is I saw the statistics of failure that was being talked about around women-owned businesses, and I was very disturbed. I was disturbed to the point of, when I started my business, I knew that I wanted to focus on women entrepreneurs and changing, impacting those statistics in a positive way. So that 95% failure rate and that 5% success rate, at least I could talk about the 5% that succeeded. At least I could talk about impacting that 5% and growing that 5%. Suppose we ended up 10 years later, we were able to say we're now at 7%. I look at the energy of that kind of conversation, of that kind of work, of that kind of power, of momentum. And even if it's 5%, I'm looking at the number of businesses that have begun over the long term. That 5% can actually be a greater number amongst the whole. So, moving the needle on the 5% is something that I do desire to do, but it's more important that I get inside that 5% to understand who's in there and how it is that they can be helped. And I do believe that understanding this 10X CEO piece is something that can help to move that 5% needle. So your story, your customer's story, and the market story. Those are three stories that we spend time in understanding, because it's in understanding them that you see how they're interwoven, how your unique service proposition impacts all of those, how your positioning in the market story really works, how your customer story, customers are seeking what it is that you have and where they're seeking, how it is that you can position yourself so that they meet up with the value that you are looking to basically bring to them to improve lives and make a difference in the world. So tip number 7, create core stories. Your story, your customer's core story, and know the market story. Tip number 8, marketing and sales. So often we hear marketing and sales together. We hear marketing, we hear sales. I'm talking about them together in this segment because there's some really great marketing strategies out there. And finding your strategy requires spending some time in development, what I call the 7 musts of marketing. They will actually, understanding them will actually give you a little more juice into how you move into any one or all 7 of those musts. And it's really important because your messaging across all marketing platforms really has to be consistent. And when you have the one thing focus, you can be consistent in that messaging. But before you can even address your marketing conversation, you have to know your ideal client or customer, because your marketing must speak directly to them. Your ideal customer gets identified in the customer's core story. And developing that, we really get into the space of understanding, well, who is my ideal client? How do I know that they're my ideal client? And your ideal client, we typically look for this niche. I can serve this niche. But you know what? You'll serve that niche until you identify what's inside that niche. It's really calling your heart. So what do you think might happen if you got inside there sooner rather than later? And then I know there are a lot of people out there, well, my programs or products, my, whatever it is that I do can help everybody, or this huge group. Well, it just may. However, your heart speaks to one thing. Your heart yearns for one thing because it's in the direction of that one thing. A rocket ship going to the moon isn't also going to Mars and Uranus and Jupiter. It's going to that one thing. It's called the moon. And when we talk about setting our goals, shoot for the moon. And if you hit a star, then consider yourself lucky because you've made it out there. You've done some things. Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. But you know what? If you have identified the moon as your goal, the moon as a milestone goal, because there's something beyond the moon as well, that expansive space allows you more opportunity for that energy to make it to the moon. Now, do you think a rocket ship headed for the moon is actually going to allow themselves not to make it to the moon. Why? Just because I don't want to do this today. I would rather play over here today. Great. You sure you want to make it to the moon? And the rocket ship going to the moon actually course corrects 97% of the time. And that might be a stretch to think that, but it's true. So let me bring it back just a little to say that trip to the grocery store, that trip to the next business networking group meeting. Well, you're here, you set the GPS, you know where you're going, your target is there. Yet when you get in the car to go there, are you going in a straight line? No, not unless you want to hit the garage and the trees and other cars on the road. No, you're doing your course correction as well. And it's the same thing that occurs in developing a strategy. Your strategy has the place where you're starting, has the desired end goal, that destination, and beyond that destination. One of the things I want you to do is think beyond this destination, which makes the destination a milestone goal. It makes the destination a place where you want to pause, take a breath, take a look back and see what happened. In hindsight, it's 2020 out the rearview a window, not necessarily mirror, but that window to take a look at what occurred. That is interpreting a story. The story going forward is a story that you create. And that's what I'm talking about, being in marketing and sales. You can do all the marketing you want, but without a sale, what do you have? Without a sale, what do you have? There's some really great marketing strategies out there. Really bring it in. Okay, that rocket ship to the moon, bring it in. You're going to the grocery store. You're going to drop the kid at school. You know the destination. And there's a strategy in place to get you there. If there's an accident on the way and you have to go around, it's okay, because you still have in mind the destination. So marketing is setting the journey. Sales occurs actually in the journey. The sales that occur in the journey are what helps sustain you so that you can continue the journey. It's like in that drive to drop the kids off at school, you're expending gas, but the fuel that you're expending, if you look at it as energy and energy in flow, without that energy in flow, you're stopped. So keeping the energy in flow happens as sales happen in your business. Sales is money in motion. It's money in flow. And so, you don't stop after just one sale. You don't stop after 10 sales. In business, you keep going because you've got a marketing strategy that takes you to this destination, which is a milestone goal. And then you pause, I call it plan the strategy, do the work, implement, drive yourself there. When you get there, review what you've done, and then start the process again. So marketing and sales, tip number 8. Let's go on to tip number 9 here. And I can honestly tell you, this is one of my favorite spaces because it's create and decide the strategy. So, number 8 was marketing and sales. And, now tip number 9, you're talking about create and decide the strategy. Well, one of the things that I also talk about is test and measure. So creating and deciding the strategy occurs all along the way. That's how come that rocket ship can adjust 97% of the time. That's how come as you're driving, you're moving that steering wheel, because you're continuing the creation process. If there's an accident or a block in the road and you know a way around, you can decide to take that step around, and you're not off path. What you've done is created what you've needed in order to continue that forward movement. And in tip number 1, where we actually talked about being the leader, setting the vision, you've actually already done this process. So for us to be talking about it at tip number 9, we're actually able to focus on the I've been moving, because I've been communicating towards the vision. I've already set the vision. I've set the strategy. I'm the leader. I'm the guardian of the mood. I've been making movement, forward movement. And now we're talking about strategy at yet another level. There's more than one place to write the strategy for what it is that you're going to do, where it is that you want to be. And I do it every 90 days. I believe that strategy is in all of the 10 tips. However, there's a specific strategy that I also want to bring into play here, and I call it the strategy for the strategy. That's the strategy that you set up in the initial visioning, the initial movement towards the vision. The strategy for the strategy is really where you get into every 90 days, pause. In that pause, take a moment to reflect. Take a moment to see the next move. Take a moment to decide what that next move is going to look like so that you can move. And in the reflection, you'll be able to take a look in that rear window and interpret the story that's been told. Make any adjustments you need to make, because the next 90 days could be the best 90 days of the several 90 days that are now behind you. And spending the time to create the big strategy, the strategy, and then coming to a place of creating the strategy for the strategy that happens every 90 days. This is the space that I'm talking about really living in to gain further clarification and clarity about the direction that you're going to. And it requires some decisions. It requires you looking at loving being in the space of strategy. But even more than that, loving more being in the space of doing, taking that inspired action, working it, executing it. And I say you want to execute 90 days at a time. Now, 90 days at a time towards that long term, beyond the moon, 10 years. What would it take to create that 100-year strategy, that 100-year vision? Well, let's bring it back. Even I work with people that say 12 months is too far for me to see out to. It's just blowing my head up. Yet I want you to understand that 12 months is not really that long. It's not really that far out. And you know that because you are in a space of moving the needle. But when you're moving it 90 days at a time, you can take a look at week by week. You've got a month accomplished. You can take a look back at that month. You got 2 ahead of you. So you can move into that next week. I know what my milestone goals are for that end of that 90 days, and how close am I? How far away am I? How can I get this done? 90 days at a time, I think, is not only manageable, but it allows you to feel more in your authentic divine power in creating what it is that you would like to see. And writing it out. Have you ever written a 90-day strategy out? Culling it down to, how about this? One page that has not only your purpose, your profit, milestone goals, your priorities, your performance, and your progress, all on one page. Think that's too much for one page? Well, when you can do that, I think you are clear about a few things. You're probably clear about a lot of things, but you're very clear about a few things. And in that clarity, let me also say that your energy frequency is at a higher level. The universe, source, the divine can understand and help more when we're clear. Allow that clarity to come. And that's why decisions are so powerful, and declarations towards those decisions are so powerful. I declare that I am worth reaching my milestone goals. And that declaration is something that not only your heart hears and your subconscious can then learn to come into alignment with, but that's why declarations are so powerful. Affirmations and visualizations are powerful too. However, declaring a thing, you have actually made a powerful statement around it. Yes, declaring, creating, and deciding your strategy. Tip number 9, create and decide the strategy. And now you're in the space of power, because here's tip number 10. And this is key because, again, while I mentioned that leadership flows through all 10 of these tips, so does money. And I want to talk to you now about probably the most powerful tip, and it's systems and tools. Make productivity your friend. Systems and tools. When you desire more money to flow to and through you, when you're ready to impact the world in a bigger way, when you're ready to stop living in the space of concern about yourself and your family, because you know that you're going to be taken care of. The work that you're doing is so important. The universe is supporting you, and it will get done, and you will be taken care of. You'll better be able to take care of yourself and your family. You'll better be able to spend more time with family and friends. You have systems. You have to have systems. When you have systems and tools that support you, it's easy to it's easy to do the work that you do. You can reclaim your time and spend more time with family and doing the things that you really love. You want to set the systems that will give you that advantage. If you don't know how or what to use, if you're looking for some additional ideas, put a comment in the comment box. There are a number of tools that I use. There are a number of tools that I've used for years that I'm somebody who does multiple things. I run multiple businesses. I am a partner in 2 other businesses. And because of that, it's very important that I manage myself. One of the things that one of my clients, I'm having such a hard time in the space of time management. I just can't manage time. I'm having such an issue with time management. And I said, well, first of all, do you recognize that time is not an element to be managed? Time is a continuum. Time is ever consistent. Time is something that is a static that you cannot manage. What you manage as it relates to time is yourself. Now, how are you managing yourself? And boy, what a light bulb moment that was for her. I get it. I am not moving myself in time to be as effective as I could be. Absolutely. And how do I do that? Well, there are tools. Do you have a calendar? Do you have a week at a glance? Are you using a month at a glance? How are you managing this? Are you setting up a time every day to get your exercise in? Are you setting up a time every day to do this, that, or the other? Are you shutting down work enough in a day that allows your brain to rest for a moment? Well, I have tools that I've used. I'm continuing to learn about new tools. There are a lot of now with the smartphone and with online applications. There are a lot of apps out there that make productivity so much bigger. You can do it in a much greater way. I'm using for a couple of projects Basecamp and Asana. I'm using some tools that I created for myself years ago that have always worked, that are continuing to work. And I have to tell you, if it works, use it, continue to use it at a higher level, because it is in what works that allows you to uh, do more with less. And it's because of all of this that I wanted to, okay, let me back up a second. Tip number 10, systems and tools make productivity your friend. And many of you know also my story about moving from California to Atlanta and the incident that occurred, and why it is that I moved more into an online business versus an offline business, and doing all of the live networking that I had done, running 3 different networking groups at one point in time. Well, I want you to know that I am so in my right space, and it's not because of um, being able to, excuse me, let me just grab some water real quick. It's not necessarily just being able to be out here in a global community online. That's part of it that I'm so thrilled about. But it's that I can marry the two in a totally bigger way. Um, and in doing so, in even building my own strategy to get there, I looked at a few things. Some of the clients that I've been working with, some of the clients or potential clients that have found me that want to work with me, and some of my own personal struggles have been around this whole concept of money and the flow of money. And I am happy to say that I've created a program. It's called Step Into Your Money Flow. 8 steps to activate the flow of money in your life, in your business. And it's a program that's for you if you've been looking at spending any time where you really want to understand what your relationship with money is. How do you dance with money? And each of us is in this dance. We either dance really well, and I'm one who kind of came out of the physical world, a dancer, and a Chicago step dancer, and I love the space of movement and body movement, ballet, tap, jazz dance, all of which are in my background. So the thought of dancing with money, I had to look at. I remember being in elementary school and being so enamored by the maypole dance and learning all of the other dances from around the world, and really understanding that the energy in movement is the energy that we can often find blocked in ourselves and in our businesses. And if it's blocked in you, it is blocked in your business. And so understanding your subconscious mind allows you to understand where those blocks are and how to release those blocks. And so I want to tell you about this program. You can find information about it. I'm going to put it in the chat as soon as I can find it while I'm talking. Because it's, where am I here? I want to go back here. Okay. And I'm going to tell you that it's a $197 program. It's a 4-week program. Actually, the value is double, probably triple, quadruple this, yet I've priced it in a way that I believe is very affordable. And it's my pilot program. And right now, I want you to know that you can access the program for a $97 value investment. But hold up, wait a second, time out. I did say it's my pilot program. This is the first group that I'm taking through the program. I am looking for the opportunity to get some amazing testimonials out of this. So here's the kicker. It starts tomorrow, and I want to open it up to anyone who would like to attend and or get the videos. I'm going to package it into a video program. However, again, I'm going to be offering this program once a month throughout the course of 2016 because I think it's such an important piece of doing business. How are you in the flow of money? I want you to step into your power and into the flow of money. I want you to understand your relationship with money and understand how you dance with money and why. And the why is less important than the reasons that you want to dance differently with money right now. So if you're stuck, there's too much month at the end of the money, if you're struggling to secure the next client, if you are looking at, I'm doing great business, but I know that there's double, triple, quadruple opportunity out there for me. Why am I not going for it? If you're in that space, if there are money leaks where you make it and it's gone before you know it, this is the space for you. I'm going to teach you the 3 key reasons why your money's blocked, why it's leaking out. I'm going to help you to shatter your glass ceiling and allow for more money to come in. I'm going to give you an 8-step formula to open up and activate the flow of money into and through you as the CEO of your business. So that means it's coming through your business. I'm going to give you the 10x CEO revenue model. And I'm going to show you the #1 most effective joint venture strategy on the planet, bar none. Now, if you've been working hard and smart at your business, yet you're still challenged to earn more, you've challenged yourself to earn more, my philosophy is when you learn to master your inner game and master your relationship with money, you'll not only earn it, you'll open the flow for more of it, and you'll be able to let money flow to you and through you so that you can save some, you can spend some, you can keep some, you can give some away if that is your choice. And because of that, I want you to know that you can join me in this program for $47. Now, I think I gave you the link to the page that shows a $97 special cost. Well, I'm going to share with you one additional link, and this is the link that you can sign up right now. It'll be available through Monday for you to sign up for $47. You will on Monday be able to get the video for session 1 and join us for the remaining 3 live opportunities. Bring the link in the chat right now. And you will see that this is the $47 piece special price seat. You'll get your participants guide. You'll get a couple other bonuses along with my 10-step system to build your business success blueprint. There's some great strategic pieces or pieces of strategy in the 10-step system that you can implement in your business right now. And you will, so each session, let me tell you a little bit about it. Each session is an hour long, where I will be teaching you a few key things about opening up this money flow. And then at the end, we're going to close the training and open things up to a Q&A session. And that Q&A session is where you can ask your questions, where you can talk about it. It's going to be a safe space for you to be able to get answers to the things that are going to be coming up. Because one of the things I recognized is that the first level of change is awakening. And it's awakening something in you that says, do I really have to be in this space of struggle? The answer is no. You choose that. Can I really be in this space of prosperous, of, having the things that I dream of come to me? And the answer is yes. So the gap there is where we're going to play so that you can be in this space of open flow, a space of no longer questioning whether or not you deserve to be wealthy because you've got these blocks, these belief systems that are disempowering. And many of us have these belief systems running in the background and we don't even know it. So a lot of the work that we're going to be doing is experiential. I'm going to share with you a technique, a combination of NLP, EFT, and hypnosis that you will be able to address any issue, any emotional issue in your life, anything that comes up that makes you feel like you want to shrink back into the shadows, anything that comes up that makes you question, am I doing this right? Sometimes right doesn't matter. Sometimes the doing it is more important. And so with this technique, you will be able to master the who you are. And in doing so, open up the flow of money into your life. Well, I think I've mastered the who that I am. I like who I am. Well, I'm not talking about changing who you are to somebody that you may not like. How about if you like yourself even more? How about if you love yourself? My dear friend and colleague, joint venture partner, Cynthia Gardner O'Neill often says, love yourself more today than you did yesterday. And at first I used to think, can I love myself more today than I did yesterday? How's that happen? And then it starts to, you hear it often enough, it starts to become integrated, because the way that that question is asked, it actually taps into the subconscious mind and allows the subconscious mind to look at all the things that might be saying, do I love myself at all, much less yesterday and today? And it allows you to come into the space deciding that you can, that you would like to, that you would love to love yourself more today than you did yesterday. And when you're in that space, you can love your clients. You can love the people that you're working with. And I know there are many of us who are already there. So I'm talking about enhancing it and doing more. And how about doing more good in the world? And not just through your business and the things that you do in your business, but also in the impacting some of the social enterprises that are out there, the nonprofit organizations that are doing good work. What would it mean? Imagine you're able to support them even more. And so, in the thinking around 10x CEO, the 10x CEO is the CEO that actually knows how to open up any blocks to their having their ideal clients come into them, attracting them to the ways that revenue can be generated in their business that are actually such great strategies that they bring not only more effectiveness into the work that you're doing, but more ease because you're reaching more with more ease. And so I invite you to take a look and join me in the program. Join me. Now, remember I said this is pilot. This is a, short window opportunity to get in here, to be a part of this. And even if you just get the recordings and do the work after the recordings, once the session is complete, the recordings will be disseminated so that if you missed it, you'll be able to work on it and be prepared prior to the next session. And then you're probably saying, well, then why did you do 4 weeks? Well, 4 weeks is a great introduction into what you want to employ to get more money to start flowing to you. And that's what I want to help you to do. So if there are any questions, I'm going to be pinging back and forth into the comments area. You can hit me up on Facebook. And yes, you'll be a part of the private Facebook group that's being established to support you. I will be in the Facebook group quite often, answering questions, providing more guidance and information, because some of these tools, while they are experiential, they are also transformational. And you having the biggest benefit of being a part of this is what's going to bring you the greater transformation. And this joint venture strategy that I'm going to be teaching, get ready, get ready, get ready. It's coming, people. So here you go. You can also go to p3academy.com or send me an email, drop me an email, lynn@p3academy.com, and let me know that you watched the broadcast, you're interested in doing something. Just let me know. I am here to serve. I love the work that I do. And even more than that, I love seeing people open the flow of money into their lives, into their businesses. And I want to help you to do that too. So thank you for joining me today. You've been in the zone, the Biz Info Zone. We've gone a little over time. I apologize for that. I cannot tell you how important it was for me to share this information with you. You're in business, money, and strategy today with the 10X CEO Part 2. You've got all of the 10 strategies here, and in the zone, you'll find more. So join me again right here next week where we've got something amazing going on. You can go to bizinfozone.com and find the February schedule. It's up. I'll actually post it here as well. So thanks again for joining me. I am your host and today's presenter, V.Lynn Hawkins. It's been an absolute pleasure being here with you today. I love you. I appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks. Bye for now. Or actually tomorrow. Join me tomorrow. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.